Ever wonder what's actually holding you up during a game-winning jump shot or, even just a walk to class? It is so much more than just a bag of bones. What we're looking at here is an incredible piece of living architecture. So in this explainer, we're going to do a comprehensive college-level review of this amazing system.
All right, so here is our game plan for today. We're going to start by meeting the team, the basic blueprint of your skeleton. Then we'll zoom way in to explore the incredible living architecture of bone itself. After that, we'll see how it all comes together with the moving parts, how we can actually upgrade the machine with exercise, and finally, how to keep this whole system in peak condition for a lifetime.
First up, Section 1, Meet Your Skeleton. Look, before we can even talk about movement or strength, we've got to understand the foundational framework that makes everything else possible. Just think of it as the essential blueprint, the scaffold that gives your body its entire shape and support. And to get us started, here's a fun little fact that might surprise you. We're actually born with way more bones than we end up with. As we grow, some of them fuse together. So, any guesses on what that final number is?
If you guessed 206, you absolutely nailed it. Yeah, that drop from 270 happens as different bones, like the ones in your skull and your lower spine, fuse into solid structures. And that's what gives us the adult skeleton we all know. Now check this out. Your skeleton isn't just one big blob of bones. It's really split into two specialized teams. On one side, you've got the axial skeleton. That's your core, your skull, spine, and ribs. It's like a fortress protecting all your vital organs. Then you have the appendicular skeleton. That's your arms, legs, and everything that connects them to the core. This is the action squad, built for getting you from A to B.
And believe me, the skeleton's job description is absolutely packed. It's not just about support and movement. Nope. It's a shield protecting your brain and your heart. It's a factory pumping out blood cells from the marrow. It's a bank storing crucial minerals like calcium. And it's even a regulator playing a key role in your body's hormone system. It is a true multitasker.
So this brings us to a really critical point. Your bones are not like the dead, static steel beams of a building. Not at all. They are living, dynamic tissues. On a microscopic level, there's a constant renovation crew at work. You've got osteoclasts breaking down old bone and osteoblasts building new bone. This constant remodeling means your skeleton is always adapting to the stresses you put on it.
So how do bones actually get longer? Well, it all happens at these special zones near the ends of long bones called growth plates. You can think of them as these active construction sites made of cartilage. New bone gets laid down, pushing the ends of the bone further apart. And then, once you hit your final adult height, those construction sites close up. The cartilage hardens into solid bone, it ossifies, and that's it, growth stops.
All right, so we've got the blueprint down. Now let's see how this thing goes from being a static frame to the incredible moving machine that is our body. And that whole transition, it is all thanks to our joints.
So if our bones are the rigid girders, what are the hinges, the bolts, and the pivots that let it all move? The answer, of course, is joints. These are the amazing connections between bones that allow for this huge range of motion, all powered by our muscles. I mean, without them, we'd just be rigid statues. Joints basically fall into three main categories based on how they're built and how much they move. You've got your fibrous joints, like in your skull, that don't move at all. Then there are cartilaginous joints, like the discs between your vertebrae, that allow for just a little bit of movement. But the real all-stars of motion, the ones we're going to focus on, are the synovial joints. They are freely movable and allow for all the cool stuff we do in sports and everyday life. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. You see, there are 6 specialized types of these synovial joints, and each one is engineered for a really specific job. You've got pivot joints for rotation, like when you shake your head no. You've got hinge joints for a simple back and forth, like in your elbow. Saddle and condyloid joints let you move in 2 directions, while the incredible ball and socket joint in your shoulder and hip gives you the greatest range of motion in, well, pretty much all directions. Now, to really get how these joints work, we kind of need to learn their language. So let's start with the most basic pair of movements, flexion and extension. Flexion is just decreasing the angle of a joint. Think about bending your elbow. And extension is the exact opposite. It's increasing that angle to straighten the joint, like when you straighten out your knee. So let's put this into action. Picture a perfect basketball jump shot. That entire movement is just a super rapid, powerful sequence of flexion and extension. The player flexes their knees and hips to coil up like a spring, gathering all that power, and then explodes upwards by powerfully extending those same joints to release the shot. It's beautiful.
Okay, the next key pair is abduction and adduction. Abduction is moving a limb away from the center line of your body, like raising your arm out to the side. Adduction is bringing it back toward the midline. And here's a simple way to remember it. To abduct something is to take it away, and to adduct is to add it back to the body. Easy, right?
So, now we get how the blueprint works and how the machine moves. Let's talk about maintenance and, maybe more importantly, upgrades. How do we actually build better, stronger bones? Well, the answer is exercise.
This quote right here from the Royal Osteoporosis Society, this might be the single most important takeaway for your lifelong bone health. Bones aren't static. They respond to stress. When you use them, they adapt by getting stronger. It is the classic definition of use it or lose it. So how do we use our bones in the right way? Well, it really takes a 1-2 punch. First, you need weight-bearing impact exercise. That's when you're on your feet and adding controlled force through your bones. Think running, dancing, sports. Second, you need muscle strengthening exercise, because when your muscles contract and pull on your bones, it sends this powerful signal to those bones to rebuild and become denser. But not all impact is created equal. As you can see from this chart, activities can be low, moderate, or high impact. Now, while high-impact sports like basketball give a really strong bone-building signal, you don't have to be a pro athlete to see benefits. Even moderate impact activities like jogging are incredibly effective at stimulating that bone growth. The real key here is consistent, varied activity. And finally, let's touch on a few common conditions that can affect the skeletal system. Because honestly, understanding the potential issues is the absolute first step toward prevention and just taking care of yourself for the long term.
So your spine has these natural, healthy curves that help it absorb shock and distribute weight. But sometimes, these curves can become exaggerated. Scoliosis is a sideways S or C curve. Kyphosis is that excessive forward rounding of the upper back, sometimes called a hunchback. And lordosis is an exaggerated inward curve of the lower back, or sway back. You've probably heard the word arthritis, but it can mean a lot of different things. So let's look at the two most common types. Osteoarthritis is what you'd call the wear and tear kind, and it usually affects bigger joints like your hips and knees. Rheumatoid arthritis is a totally different ballgame. It's an autoimmune disease where the body actually attacks its own joints, and it often starts in the smaller joints of the hands and feet. And that brings us to osteoporosis. This is a disease where your bone mineral density goes down, making the bones porous, weak, and way more likely to fracture. This is exactly why those impact and strengthening exercises we just talked about are so critical throughout your entire life. They are your #1 defense against this silent disease that can weaken your bones from the inside out. So here's the ultimate takeaway from all of this. Your skeleton is not just some static frame. It is a dynamic, living partner that is actively responding to how you treat it every single day. By supporting it with movement and exercise, you're investing in a strong, resilient foundation that's going to support you for your entire life. If you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe to the Subject Simplified channel for more.